In this tutorial, we're going to look at the different way of creating a database, not using Access, but using a program known as SQL Server 2005, and using the front end to that called the Management Studio. Now I'm going to use Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio Express, and you can download this for nothing from the Microsoft website as a kind of light version of the full version of SQL Server Management Studio. Now the first screen you see when you log into SQL Server 2005 is this one. It gives you the server type, which is a database engine. It's going to give you the server name. Now this will create a server on your desktop, a virtual server. Now my desktop is called desktop. Your computer might have a different name. That name will be in here. And because I'm using Windows, I'm going to leave it on Windows Authentication. And you click on Connect. And the first thing you'll see is this screen. Now you're going to create a database. So either here or on the database thing that was down here earlier, you right click and go to new database. And this will come, it'll give you database a name. Now I would be making a CD shop, so I go to CD_shop, never leave spaces. This gives you here the way the database will grow. You can change the size, it will grow every time it needs to grow. So basically when the database gets too big, it'll grow by 1 megabyte every time here, and then the log file will grow by 10% every time. And you click on OK, and after a slight delay you'll see this screen. And you'll see CD shop here, or if you open up this tree here, you'll see CD shop here. Now you open that up, and you can see you've got all your tables and bits and bobs here. And I'm going to create a table. So go to tables, right click, and new table. I'm going to create the stock table that I created in Access, but I'm going to do it this time in SQL Server. So the first thing I do is I'm going to create my CD number. Again, no spaces, because they can make things messy later on. The data type, I'm going to make an integer, which is like a whole number with no decimal places, so int, or you can choose it from the list here, it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to allow nulls, that is blanks, because I want this to be my primary key, and here I right click and set it to the primary key. Same as it did in Access, so it can't be duplicated and it won't be null. Next, I'm going to put the CD name, and here I'm going to choose a text field. Now you see there's no text here, it's NCHAR, character field, and I'm going to choose there 30. Now you can see I haven't put a space in here, so SQL has automatically put square brackets on it to define it as a single object. If I get rid of the blank and put an underscore in instead, you'll see that it won't do that. So that's why it's important to leave no gaps. So CD name, band name, again I'm going to do N character 30. Price. Now this time I'm not going to put a currency field, and I'm going to put a number with decimal places. Now if any of you that study computers will know that's not an integer. An integer is a whole number. You can't put 12.99 with a decimal place with an integer. So I choose from the list a real, and that allows decimal places. Next I'll choose whether that's a single or a double CD. And again, that's going to be a character field. Now single and double only have 6 letters in them, so I'll just change that down to 6. And then after single double CD, I think there was year released. Again, no spaces. That's going to be an integer, a whole year. So you can either find integer from here or type it in. And then finally, genre. And that's going to be, let's do it for character and consistency, make it 30. Not that it'll be a genre with more than 30 characters, but you never know. And finally, I just go up here to save table 1. Give it a name, so T stock, and go to OK. And you'll see now over in tables here, there's a database object called T stock, and I can now go to that, right click, and open the table. And you'll see in a minute, it's very much like Access, except if there isn't anything there, it actually will say null. And what I'll start doing is I'll put in my details. So CD number 1 was Lost Highway by Bon Jovi. Price was £12. Now I put .00, it'll automatically cancel that. Single or double CD, it's a single. Oops. Year released 2007, genre rock. Now you can see these exclamation marks here. That means the cell has been changed and it hasn't been saved yet. You click off, they'll all vanish, and you can start putting your next field in. Now, if I close this and go back into it, there's the table. If I just go to open table, you can see because I've moved down a line, it's kept those details in there. Now what I'm going to do is pause a minute while I put all my other bits and bobs in, and then I'll come back to you. And there we are with me having entered all my data. You can change the column widths here if you want to make them fit properly, or shrink them down. And then that's about it. That's how you create a table in SQL Server. Now when you want to close anything down, so if I wanted to close the design, I'd go here, close it. If I wanted to close the table itself, I'd go here. And if you want to reopen them, you just go back over to the table and open table. If you want to edit it, you can go to edit, and you can do the SQL edit here. Now I won't go into that just yet. I don't want to panic anyone, but when you open it back up, you'll see the tables open back up. Now the CD column sizes automatically snap back. They don't like Access, it isn't saved in a nice width. It will snap back to the original size, so don't worry about that. That's just something you've got to deal with SQL Server. But that's how you make a basic table in SQL Server, and we're done.